Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another SNH Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I'll be your host along with my partner Diego. Today, we'll be going through the B.4b teaks. The teaks B.4b we'll be going over is homeostasis and cellular transport. This is our contents page, and we'll be going through the warm up, the concept introduction, learning objectives, the mini quiz and the answers, and the summary. Moving on, we have the warm up. So why is it important for living organisms to maintain a stable internal environment? You guys can go ahead and pause the video. I'll be moving on. So the answer is living organisms need to maintain a stable internal environment to ensure optimal conditions for cellular functions and overall survival. So how exactly is this related to homeostasis and cellular transport? We're going to be moving to the concept introduction. So homeostasis is the process of maintaining a constant and balanced internal environment. So how exactly is this related to cellular transport? Well, cellular transport is the movement of molecules across the cell membrane in order to maintain homeostasis. In other words, cellular transport moves molecules across the cell membranes to maintain a constant and balanced state within the body. There are two types of cellular transports. There is the passive transport and there's the active transport. For the passive transport, as you can see, it has no energy and it begins in a high concentrated area and moves into the low concentrated area. However, the active transport begins in a low concentrated area and requires ATP, which is energy, to move into a highly concentrated area. To make it more visually easy to understand, I have this next slide. As you can see, passive transport starts from the highly concentrated area and goes down to the lowly concentrated area. In contrast to active transport, it starts from the low concentrated area and goes to the high concentrated area, but it requires ATP to do so.
Moving on from Kevin, I will be talking about passive transport and active transport. Passive transport has three things that must be known: simple diffusion, the passing across the membrane; facilitated diffusion, passing across the membrane through a carrier protein; and osmosis, which is the passing of water across the membrane through aquaporins. Next is active transport: protein pumps, passing across the membrane through a protein; endocytosis, bulk movement into a cell; and exocytosis, which is bulk movement out of a cell. Now I will be going into depth about osmosis outcomes. The first osmosis outcome is hypotonic solution. This happens when a cell swells and either bursts, which occurs in animal cells, or becomes turgid, which happens in plant cells. This this happens when the net water movement goes into the cell. Next is isotonic solution. The cell remains the same size. When this happens, no net movement of water occurs, which is dynamic equilibrium. Lastly, there's hypertonic solution. This happens when a cell shrinks. Net water movement goes out of the cell. Next is a mini quiz. You can pause the video if you want to do it. And here's the answer key for the mini quiz. And lastly, thank you for watching the video, and please fill this form out.